listening to the Questionnaire.
Say that again.
You're listening to the Questionnaire.
I've just started.
Right here, for your ears, for your eyes.
The Questionnaire.
Get your comic on.
Poke it out, poke it out, poke it out, poke it out.
Strange one. What happened down there? You look as if you've seen a quest, perhaps, or 2 or 3. I hope you all out there have. All right, this is the Questionnaire. I am the unknown factor. All right, and we just threw this one in the middle because he like came to me begging. I'm just kidding. He did, right? That'd be mean. Dave, man, I'm being so mean right off the bat.
Well, can't all be nice. I'm the nice cop. You're the bad cop. Wait,
Dude,
no.
Look,
Reverse it.
it's probably I don't let my bad cop out. That would be very, very good. It's Oh, I love your response because, like, you've seen. So we won't go into that, right? This is the Questionnaire, man. We're about comics over here. It's about like love things, all kinds of things. Some of them you might not want to give to your kid. Some of them you fully might want to give to your kid. That's just the case. So if you're out there getting comics for your kid, do me a favor, be aware. But if you're looking for a good one for your kid, right? I mean, I know a man who had one about a cereal box that was a time machine that he's like Dave, did you get to read that?
I got to read episode 1 and the first 24 pages of episode 2. So it was just as the big fight was getting ready to start, and then there was something wrong with my file. It corrupted. So I didn't get to see the end of that.
Well, then you know what? We can just give him crap because he's here. Scott Wojcik in the house. Man, why are you sending corrupted files?
Hold on, guys. I don't know. I have no idea why it was corrupted.
Just old man Dave doesn't know how technology works. I'm not sure which one we can call him and blame it on.
Yeah, man, I'd say that's a coin flip, man. Because some of y'all first Scott didn't beg. Scott asked me because he's got some things coming up we're going to talk about here in a minute. I love him, man. He's coming over here, co-hosting the show. Me and him got that episode up with Michael Holman, which was just awesome. It was a blast having Michael on. We chatted so many. It's funny how much you can get into paperwork, right? I know Scott ain't. We can't. Never mind. I about said something from a private conversation, Scott, that I don't know if you want to say. See, you know what I'm talking about, don't you?
I don't actually know.
Oh, well, we probably shouldn't just blatantly mention it on the show then, because I don't think it's a good idea. But if you think about Michael Oman and the amount of paperwork it takes to accomplish something, and then a conversation see what I'm saying? So you see what I'm saying?
I know what you're talking about.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? That's all right. That's good. But so I mean, it's a pleasure, man. We've been on the show. We've got so much more coming up on the quest, but you've got some things coming up. You've got dude, I see you going to so many things. I can't remember which one's the thing that's. Well, we're gonna get into that in a minute, but I'm talking about the event you got coming up.
Oh yeah. I got a CKExpo coming up on April 27th and 28th.
My brain wanted to say Toronto Con for some reason.
That was just a couple weeks ago.
I should know that because I know, like a chunk of whatever. Dave, my brain hurts. So before we get into that book, I said even though that is very much kid friendly, it's not as kid friendly.
No, there's a few swear words in there.
Yeah. I mean, so it's just which is fine because, like I said, there's comics at all levels. But Dave, I want to know, what was your opinion of that book? And are you aware that it was written by him and his kids?
That's what I was putting together. Yeah. And I did enjoy that. The kids are sitting around, they're eating cereal. And I wish I would have had a toy out of a cereal box as awesome as that one. Usually I think the best thing I ever got out was one of those submarines that you put baking soda in. Yeah. And it'll sink and it'll come up and sink and go. That's probably about the best thing I remember getting out of a cereal box. So a magic wand that can do just about anything. That's great.
They don't
even. It's a lot of fun.
What a great way to connect with them.
It's been an absolute blast working with the kids on this.
I just gotta say they don't even put anything that cool in cereal boxes anymore at all. So if you're expecting a magic wand out of one nowadays, I'm sorry, folks.
Yeah, you'll get like a QR code on the back that takes you to a website, which will have them download an app which does microtransactions, which will then cost you, $50,000 or something. So,
They don't even do the mail out stuff.
no.
No.
This is coming from a guy who complained about microtransactions who plays Fortnite. So
Yeah.
That is a very, very large contradiction, Dave. I don't think there's a worse microtransaction based thing beyond Fortnite. It's
well, you don't have to pay for anything. That's what's really cool. What I do like. So
Yeah.
everything I'm buying is stuff I've earned in the game. Whereas like you get games like Call of Duty, where oh, you want to have a stronger gun, you actually pay for a stronger gun, or that stuff's ridiculous. So but we're not here to talk about video games.
we're not here to talk. We are digressing from the point extremely. Like somebody's like just brought up a wand and was like, make these people go off the rail because that's what they're gonna do. But yeah, dude, I did think it was a very interesting concept, and I know that's something that you and your kid Scott are building extensively. But that's not the thing that you're getting ready to drop a second issue of right now.
No.
Right.
Marvelous Tales of Wonder.
Yeah, that is what's on the shelf. Scott, we've had conversations, and I don't know what part of those conversations I can ask you about on air. And that's what my brain just realized. Is there's certain things like I'm like, there's been conversations, but I don't know like what conversations because I don't remember that. So Dave, like I just want you to ask a random basic question. Did you get to that?
I started it. I have to be honest, I did not get very far. I had dinner. It was my turn to cook tonight.
It was
So
this was kind of last minute for everyone watching. So
Yeah.
fair, Dave.
But Marvelous Tales. So I didn't. I saw that. Scott, you did the translations for it. So was it previously printed somewhere else?
Yeah. So the original, the writer and artist, it was Leandro Francino, who is the same artist for Cereal Box. Lean and I have been discussing over the last probably year, talking about Shooting Star, talking about other characters and how, what we should do with these characters, right? And I said to him, like, what if we build a universe around them? What if we go old school, kind of like Marvel did, where they have like an anthology style series and introduce new characters into it? So the first 5 issues will be Shooting Star, and then after that, we've got about 9 characters built out, and each one is probably going to be about 4 or 5 issues. So, and we tried to go to keep the same feel, the same look, the black and white, even the paper. We went as close as we could to newsprint. Okay. So yeah, it's not newsprint, but it is like it has that really soft feel to it, and it could rip pretty easily, but it still brings that nostalgia feeling back to it, right? We added ads throughout the book, so it just kind of but ads for like Andrew's ads in there, my ads in there, QUESTionnaire is in there, so it and comic shops that have supported me along the way. So I think it's important to give support to people that have helped you out along the way too. So
who is Shooting Star? As someone who like I said, I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing. So who is Shooting Star and what's his story?
Well, after reading this, I realized how, what's the word? I realized how connected you can be to a character. And Jay knows that usually when I'm going on shows like this, I get extremely nervous, almost like a coward. And I think it's really important that people understand that sometimes it's okay to be like that and to push yourself a little bit harder to push forward. And I think that that's kind of what Shooting Star is. You know, he's a character that gets, you know, he's scared, he gets kidnapped on his way home, and he's looking, he's like, I'm gonna die. And he gets injected with a serum and gains superpowers. And then all of a sudden now you have a character who is a coward, or in a sense, you know, doesn't want to be a hero in that way, but he's given the ability to be that hero. And he knows that his people and his city need to be protected. So he uses that to in the first issue, he uses it to help a young girl.
Very cool. So what's the powers that Shooting Star now has?
Currently, he is indestructible or invincible and has super strength.
Good
So,
enough for a lot of us.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of us would like those.
But the one thing is, like, because he's constantly scared, he's constantly a coward. He's constantly fighting against himself, right? His own weakness is himself.
I think, can I say that real quick? I think the main problem people never think about with getting super strength, like, you know, you'd probably break someone on accident one day, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you'd probably like, it would probably go really, really poorly. Just because.
Yeah.
And it would probably be really early on when you had this. Like I feel like if you suddenly get super strength, I feel like you need like a month alone in a china shop. And
Yeah.
hey man, when are you not breaking anything? Are you not breaking anything anymore? Okay, dude, you can come out. Right, but before that, you just need to stay in there. Otherwise,
Yeah. Definitely need Mr. Miyagi to take care of you, to work you through things. And shake someone's hand and you break their hand, or rip off your steering wheel when you're driving. Yeah, that could be really bad.
And there's even a scene, like a single panel in that book where he punches a guy in the face and literally shatters his teeth, and he's like, I hope I didn't just kill him, right? Like he realizes how strong he actually is.
I did like that you threw that in, because I mean, I definitely think that would be a real world situation in that. Like, if you suddenly gave people like between 20 and 40 superpowers, we'll say, there's going to be incidents. I don't want to, like, the news would get really screwy if suddenly like a quarter of the world's X gene just engaged and everyone turned into mutants. Like, or even like, let me take that down to like a tenth. It doesn't have to be a quarter. A quarter would probably destroy the world.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what My Hero Academia is about. As 80% of the people have, quirks that, from anything from, I grow a horn out the side of my head, which does nothing, to, I can steal everybody's superpowers and, be the biggest villain of all time. So
that's the premise of My Hero Academia. 80% of the people are just in some way.
I think it's even higher than that. It's like 90% of the human population has quirks now. And it's like the way that you can tell if you're going to have a quirk or not is if you have all your toes. If you have 10 toes, you're not going to get a quirk. It's a weird thing. So if you have a quirk, you only have 4 toes. Your pinky toe disappeared because you don't need a pinky toe anyway. And evolution is giving you a quirk. So
But
And if you
sorry.
the only way you can use your powers and be a superhero is if you go through the academy when you start high school. And if you don't go through the academy, you can't use your superpowers. So a lot of people can't use their superpowers, outside of, I can stamp things really fast as an accountant. That's as far as you can go. You can't use your superpowers for any other reasons. So then you have people that fight against that, and they say, hey, I should be able to use my giant shark mouth to eat whatever I want, so, or whatever. So yeah, so there's lots of politics that go on for that too.
I didn't realize that. It's more than 80% of people, or 80 or 90% of people with superpowers. That's terrifying, because I think like it's more of an anomaly. Like if you just have one, and I mean, obviously that's sorry, you hurt my brain. Scotty hurt my brain.
Yeah. Hey, and sometimes your superpower is your head's a steamroller instead of like a head. I don't know why, but they make cool action figures, so whatever.
All right then. All right then. Yeah. I mean, there definitely is. I think you definitely need to market to merchandise, right? Hey, Scott, you have that handy?
Yeah. Marketing to merchandise?
No, well, the merchandise, the mask you've got, Scott.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. That right there.
Yeah.
That's
Y'all
cool.
y'all can compare that to the picture wait. It's here. I hate what look, I'm gonna figure out exactly where that. Yeah, no, it would be here. I believe the picture is right here. If my brain is serving me right in the process of everything. Yeah. Geez,
There.
that hurt my head a little. I'm probably pointing the wrong. No, I think I'm pointing the right direction. We're gonna go with it.
It's right there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's yeah. And I think no, you'll be wrong, Scott.
No, I'm gonna be right, because I'll be on the other side.
No, see, but that's not how it works. Unfortunately,
I just want to mess with you.
if it were, dude, I wish it was that simple. But whatever. We're not. Jeez, right? Yeah. So what did you do in the creation of this, man? Then I know, like, when you're really trying to put something together, like there are always gonna be slight setbacks in some way, right? And I know initially when you're doing Cereal Box Time Machine, you're doing that with your kids, right? So that's a project you can do, and it's your kids, right? But what you're doing with Wondrous Tales is a project with a lot of people.
Yeah.
What do you find in the difference of managing those, right? As far as like, making sure everybody blends as far as what the universe is trying to be built from the number of people that are creating characters, and just dealing with adults as opposed to children, because I imagine it's different.
It is, right? I think the one big thing is, as someone I'm a huge planner, right? So when I build something out, I have to make sure that it's all interlocked, working together. But at the same time, I want to make sure that, for instance, Lean, he translated it to English, but it was very broken. So then I had to take that broken English and translate it to what you see on the book, on the pages now. But at the same time, you don't want to misinterpret what he's trying to explain. So then I have to make sure that I send the file to Lean, make sure he goes over it, and then we go over it together for the final edit. And there was a few things that I wanted to add that we made changes to, just because there's a story that we want to tell later on that kind of connects to what happens in this one. And I think that was kind of the starting point. Originally, it was just me and Lean doing this with Shooting Star and Subatomic and another character I don't want to say online right now. It was just
why not?
I said trademark.
It's
nice. Dave.
no, it's a public domain character,
Oh,
but
okay.
but I don't want anyone knowing I'm using it. So, and it's only going to be used in the first portion of of a character's origin story. So he's not even going to be the main character of it. So it's going to be like intertwined into it. And it's just because I kind of liked the character and I liked his story. And it gave me the ability to, because there's something that happens in Shooting Star and my subatomic that will make a connection to something that happened 50 years prior. And I wanted to be able to, and of course the character that I want to use is from the 1950s. So I had to figure out a way of how to bring that character or one of those characters from the 1950s or 70s, somewhere in there, and how to bring them to present day. So I was able to actually build the story out, and then in this story, there's actually a part where an older gentleman, I gotta remember exactly what he says. Hold on. By the way, I've got the book right here.
He's cheating, Dave. You see that?
Yeah, he's like, perhaps not all heroes were absent. Some just don't realize they were heroes. There's a reason he says not all heroes were absent. And so in this story, there are no heroes in the world. Shooting Star is the first hero that anyone knows about. And I'll just kind of leave it at that. But there is big ties that we had. So we had 3 characters that we were working on. And then Jay, you and I started talking about a character.
Yeah. I like. Look, man, I still like that name. I still like that name. Just
Which one?
Because it's to the point, man. It's to the point. You know what I mean? Just
Yep.
That's all. I just, yeah.
I personally like Razor Strike.
That sounds like
That's
a Rob
just-
Walton name.
That's just me.
You know, man. I think this is like maybe. Oh, no, man. I don't think.
We're doing story building right now.
Yeah, we are. We're literally doing story building on a character right now.
And then on top of that, I've got another gentleman that I went to high school with, Ryan Mikatowicz, who is him and I have been building out, and he's got like seriously a book full of characters. And once we got started talking about them, I said to him, I'm like, well, we can fit pieces here and this guy here and that. So then me and Ryan have also been working on characters. And as the characters that we started developing together between Jay and I, between Ryan and I, and Lean and Andrew doing all like the lettering, I'm kind of bouncing ideas off him. Realized I'm like, I got like 9 to 15 different characters that I can intertwine together. How do I want to tell this story? And so we do have a much larger story, but we're just going to take it one character at a time, tell Shooting Star for the first 5 issues, and then kind of move from that.
Very cool.
Cool. Yeah,
I like it. I'll have to show you some of my sketch works and some of my characters.
Yeah.
Up in there.
Absolutely.
So.
And I think that's key, right? Because it, like, when I visualize something, I have to know kind of where I'm going. So if I've got, like, great example, look at what Ghost Machine is doing right now, right? They didn't even know what they had until I think that they were already working on it quite a while ago. And then they dropped Geiger, I think was the first character that they dropped, had the first volume. And then introduced Junkyard Joe in there. And I think because it did so well, they're like, okay, this is awesome. Let's
Yeah.
go with the actual story that we want to tell. So then they launch Ghost Machine, right? Just, I think that's just this past week. And
Those
and
3
look-
issues were great.
yeah, they're awesome. They're absolutely amazing. So and look at the names that are on those issues.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't ask for much more than getting Jeff Johns to
Yeah.
build out a world.
And Frank, and then just a lot
Yeah.
of great
Yeah,
people.
Gary
coming
Franks.
together.
Yeah.
Gary Franks, the Finch.
Francis Manipul.
Yeah.
Jason
Yeah.
Verbuck. Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Redcoat was my favorite of the pick,
Yeah.
though.
That's the one I haven't read yet. It's on my nightside table.
Yeah, it was really good, and yeah, so having a connected universe like what they're doing and selling like what you're working on here is going to be fun, because you can have some high action characters, and then you have some street level characters, and so that's pretty fun.
Yeah,
man, I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Ryan Mikatowicz actually gave me an idea. He threw this out at me and said, you know, at the back of the book you could, because he's got a few like street level type characters that he personally doesn't think that are good enough to have their own arc. And I said to him, I'm like, I personally think that they do. So then we got talking about all of his character. And I said, well, what if this one's from this time? And what if we put like a 6-page story arc of one character at the back of, say, Shooting Star of Marvelous Tales, right? So you have like the main story of Shooting Star, and then at the very back you have, Smalley Biggs at the back, right?
You trying to put
What's
an end credit scene on your comic?
It's not even an end credit scene. It's just like, a new character that's at the end, right? And it's just like a small origin story.
I couldn't help myself, man. It was just too bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Scott. I retract. It's terrible.
Well, you'd see that at the end of Cereal Box Time Machine episode 2. The one that the page that I took off.
But I only got the first 24 pages.
That's it. Scott, it blows my mind how much you have in the works writing wise, because there's a lot more that, again, I don't know what degree you would want to get into in detail with anything, as opposed to that's what makes it tricky interviewing you, Scott, right there. It's like we've had so many conversations about so many things. I'm like, if I bring up this, is he gonna be like, dude, I'm not
About that, yeah.
like,
and you know what? It's funny because we talk about how companies launch things, right? How they test the waters of how a character or a series will work. Ghost Machine is a great pull for that, right? Because they only did 6 issues for Geiger, and I think at first it maybe didn't sell that well, and then it wasn't until like issue 4, 5, and 6 where it started to really pick up. And that was kind of my idea, is let's test the waters with certain books. And like I had this book out, I don't think it's even been a month since I've had this book out, and I've sold over $100 just selling myself. So like not selling in stores. So I've done okay.
That's very cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, and that's way more than I expected. So.
Well, and I mean, I think you get out there at conventions, I would assume just some of the covers you got will attract a younger eye. You know what I mean? I mean, because how many covers you have for episode 1?
For Cereal Box?
Yeah.
4.
Okay.
I'm almost out of all of them, but I've got 4. I even did a foil.
Oh wow, that's some money there.
Yeah, it was not cheap to make.
No,
But,
it is not.
and even on the back, I gotta drop some Studio Comics ad right there. But yeah, they do amazing job, right? And so this cover was done by David Jacob Duke, who is an absolutely amazing cover artist. He doesn't normally do digital, but he jumped on this and did this for me. And we planned on doing a couple more cereal box covers. So as you can see, it says Finch Flakes. That's a tribute to David Finch, who David knows himself personally. And then we got Footbuck Loops. We got Rice Crisp Lees. Ditko Pebbles. Man, we I forget what the Jack Kirby one was.
Kirby Crack.
No. No, there is a good one. But I can't think what it is now.
I love good jokes. So you're tickling my my fancy right there.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that previously. I'll be honest. Which
Yeah.
that's a nice subtle note, man. Like,
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, we all work. All of those people have worked hard in the industry, right? And I think it's good to give back a little bit to them.
Absolutely.
I fully agree, man. I mean, that's why I've loved doing this and being able to bring on everyone from every level and just how it's gone, man. And then, like I said, you jumping on as co-host with everyone else, and well, Dave, both of you, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Especially since Dave, you're co-hosting a co-host quest. This is the first time this has happened. Now, I wonder how many times it'll happen in the future. I just realized that. That's kind of funny. Yeah, but
So now we need to get Vlad on here, and he needs to interview me while you and Scott interview Vlad.
Yeah.
Wait.
And we all have green screens.
The editing.
I don't know. No. That's fine in the editing. That wasn't even the part that made my brain like go what? I'm like, what did you wait? So we're gonna repeat yourself, Dave. I need you to say that again.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen. It can't. We missed it.
Yeah.
Oh no, we
past,
didn't. I'm
the future.
recording.
I
can do. I'll check the audio later then. Fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right, noted at the note, and it's noted where the recording it is. I could check it. Yeah, you're like, because me and Vlad interviewing you. Will Scott and me interview Vlad? I think that's what you said. What?
And then
How?
yeah, I think that's something like that. Yeah, Vlad interviews me while I interview Scott, who's interviewing you, who's interviewing Vlad. Yeah.
Well, now you just made it more. I need to go check the audio. I swear, because I swear, no. I mean, we could try that. I don't know exactly how it would work.
It would be interesting. I got a better idea though for a season finale. I'm just thinking about this, Dave. At the very end of the season, I think all of us co-hosts together should interview Jay. Yeah. And we get at least an hour to prep together before Jay jumps on.
He looks like a deer in headlights. He's like,
Hold on a cop, take a minute. All right. It's just hold. Because firstly, like I don't like if you coordinate everybody on one day, I'll be amazed because there's like 8 co-hosts, I think. Look,
I'm just gonna bring random people on, so I don't know what you're talking about. There's Dave that lives under the bridge over here. I'm gonna pick him up.
But,
Yeah. Wears a trash can for a suit.
yeah.
I don't, man, whatever. You organize it, because I'm not. That's all I've got to say. And then we would technically have to figure out where I was
just
ending
wondering.
season 3, because I said something, but then I said something else, but then I decided to do that, and I can't remember how I was going to do that. I swear I did, Dave. I think we talked about it, but then I swear, whatever. It's
Yep.
And if you talk to me about it at the shop, who knows? Because the conversations we have at the shop, there'll be 5 different conversations going on at the same time. So
Dave.
yeah,
That's my brain always.
yes. You'll be like, hey, can you put this book on my pull list? Okay, I'm working on that. And like 4 more questions hit me while I'm still trying to put it into my database.
I don't mean to, Dave.
That's me too.
It's just it's apparent. I think it's why I'm good at asking people random questions and always just because yeah, but no, dude, I wish my thought pattern and my thought process on no one, and I'll just leave it at that. Because I would like to say it's probably very over analytic at times, right? Like, yeah, and we could do. That's just, people are different, right? Stop picking on me, man. Then y'all want to gang up on me, like literally, like Dave's like, everybody interview everybody, and then Scott, he's over here like, all right, everybody interview Jay. Like, that's just what we're gonna do. We're gonna interview. Like, why, dude? Why? That just seems like, firstly, a lot of editing, so it's picking on me in that fashion. And then secondly, like, ain't nobody gonna, like, everybody's just gonna be asking me questions, man. That's like a.
And the way that we're gonna do it is people are gonna pop in and out as the show goes on.
Yeah, we'll just keep sending.
Yeah.
Well,
and that'll be just random people.
I'll hop on my Facebook page and my mom will pop up and why are you doing this?
Now, firstly, I just gotta say, y'all really are like hurting me in the editing. You have no idea. All right, for people to just constantly be popping in and out, like that's you're just give me one smooth, solid show that runs well, and I can plot. And
that's this one right here.
Yeah, but why are you guys trying to make it to where, like, were you gonna like coerce me to do this show where it's like a 10-hour edit? Because you guys just wouldn't stop inviting people.
Well, it'll be just in time for the here in the U.S. would be Memorial Day weekend, so you have a 3-day weekend, so plenty of time for it to render, and so yeah, it shouldn't be a problem.
And now he forgets the question he was going to ask.
I didn't have a question. I was just
I got one about cereal box time machine. Yeah. So you're working with the kids. So what you've got 3, 2 boys and a girl.
Yep.
And then you got a dog and a cat.
I do. Yeah.
And that's where the dogs and the cat are showing up as the characters. I was like going, because I accidentally pulled up episode 2 first, and I'm like, how do they know this character? They're like, oh, it's such and such. I'm like, oh, did they meet? Oh, I read the wrong one. So I went back. It's like, okay, so the dog keeps showing up, and then the cat, and then the dog. I was like, so who's giving you the more contributions from the kids?
Hayden's actually pretty open with coming up with stories. He's quite a bit like I am, where it's just stuff is constantly going in his head, and he's writing ideas down. He's actually written a couple of his own that that I've told him. I said, well, we're just going to start make a, Hayden's solo adventures in Cereal Box Time Machine, right? Ashton and Raina we'll actually sit down as a family and actually talk about it. Like we'll come up with some place that we're going to go, and we'll build the story out from that. But then I try to get Hayden to sit down with me and kind of explain to him, okay, this is how we're building the story, and this is why we're going in the direction we are, because here's point B where we're trying to go to, right? So we got to try and work that story into it at the same time. So and Hayden's being 14, he's slowly starting to understand it a little bit better. Ashton and Raina kind of seem to be they seem more about doing the artwork. They like, I do blank covers, and I'll have Raina actually come with me to shows, and she'll, like, Ashton has done it a couple times too, but Raina will actually sit at a show and she'll sketch blank covers right there on the spot.
Great.
Yeah, and of course she teases me because she sells them for like $30, right? Because they're one of a kind. It's
That's beautiful.
I know. And no lie, she's a better sales rep than I am.
They have the same to the kids, the kids are like, this is my comic book, and like, oh, I love it. Here, take my money.
And there's a few people that have come in and they like snag it up right away, because it is legit a one of a kind. Raina was sitting there doing it right there on the spot.
That's
so
fantastic.
And I mean, for a 9-year-old, it's a great feeling, I'm sure, for her that someone wants to purchase something like that, right?
She sold more art than I have.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, Scott, because when I initially got a hold of you, for the interview that unfortunately no one will ever see, I'd put it out there. Whatever, Scott. I don't want to hear it. I thought it was fine. I mean, you definitely were better on the second one, but it was your first interview, so whatever. But from that point, you know what I mean, and where you were in the community to where you are in the community now, and as far as like just the differences, what do you think about all that, man? And just the obviously having more of a network of people, you know what I mean, than you did when I initially contacted you. Like what's that experience been like?
Oh man, unbelievable. When I came into this, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just kind of I did as much research as I could. The nice thing is that Andrew was nice enough to kind of jump on board and kind of took me under his wing and showed me the ropes. Since then, there has been like so many people that have kind of just come out of nowhere and helped me, right? And they don't need to, right? And that's the point that kind of gets me, is they don't need to actually help out, right? And they jump onto it anyway. Alfonso at Studio Comics, actually the whole crew at Studio Comics, Alfonso, Craig, Stephanie, Paul, Roxy, Jeff, Jason, they all jump at it, and each one kind of gives me their own point. If I have questions, they'll help out. On top of that, talking to a lot of the bigger names, I had an absolutely great conversation with Ken Wheaton at Toronto Comic Con. Keith Gratchow, who is, you've had him on the show. Keith is absolutely amazing.
I need to get Keith on a drawing pan con, man. I really do.
Yeah. And like, actually, I don't know if you could see it down at the bottom, in the center, the X-Men.
I mean, they might be able to, is what I'll say, Scott. But
that one right there.
Yeah. But
Keith Gratchow.
Yeah, I don't I will say, as far as Alfonso, that was the last episode of season 1.
Of season 1. Yeah.
And well, the last official episode, we'll say, because there's an unofficial episode over on the Patreon. But yeah, I would recommend, because he did that guy. I can see, like, dealing with him. I don't know, like I said, I want to get him back on for a panic on a later point in time too. He's just he is so positive. It
He
is
is.
like the dude has a really positive just vibe about him. It was
He's
like,
very encouraging.
and he talks more than I do. I do. Dave, did you listen to that one? I'm serious.
I was clearing that out. I was like, wait, did I hear that correctly? I am getting old. The ears are going now too. So
I mean, look, man, I don't mean that in a negative way. Whatever, talk. I don't care. It was a great quest. And he made a great deal of great point. If there has ever been a quest that was strictly about the love of comics, it was. I mean, I don't know. I'd really have to think about it, but whatever. That was definitely one of them that we've done.
Yeah.
It really was just a complete and utter show for the art form that is comic books. You know what I mean? And it was, and yeah, and it just goes, I mean, there was a point where AI art got brought up, but that happens. And typically when you bring up AI art, especially when there's an artist in the room, it just doesn't go well.
No,
it does not.
Yeah, it doesn't, people and I get it, and I'm not a fan either. Like, oh my gosh, but I don't know. It's people have your opinion, right? I don't care, but I guarantee you there's original art. I'm sure it sucks. I'm sorry. You can't just make what's in your head. I mean, to make it look like that level without,
no.
And I mean I mean that just as a general statement. I can't. That's impressive, man. Mike killed that.
Man.
I mean, you can go check it. You can buy original art from Mike at his website. Like, you can find it. Go check. It's easy. It is.
Easy.
It is. And type in Mike Ruth. Mike Ruth. You might have to add uncouth. And I guarantee you, Google that, you'll find Mike's site without a problem. But you made me lose my point, Dave. Oh, yeah, but then if you look at AI art, I mean, people, I think, get up. It's that whole fact that you can just type in a couple words, and then you have something that, but it's really not, if you really look at it.
It's like a blob compared to that.
It's stolen. So
and
everybody's got 6 fingers or more, and so it's horrible. I don't mind it for like technology for let's do algorithms for how can we solve world hunger, how can we do mathematical equations. Okay, that's okay for AI. When it comes to poetry and art, that's what the computers are supposed to be doing the hard work for us, and making it easier for everybody else to enjoy art. That's the expression. Soapbox, jumping down. Sorry.
No, it's okay, Dave, because I kind of want to just the more distracted they are, the easier they are to control.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I don't need to. But I don't want to say anything more. But that's but don't be distracted for all y'all out there. You know what I'm saying? Read something that's like original, dope. Came from the mind of a human being as opposed to was generated from something. I suppose if you really need a last minute essay and you're in college, whatever, Chat GPT it up. All right, I don't like.
It's gonna suck, but
and we'll see what happens. How slick is your professor? Right. All right. That's about all. That's about all I can say on that. Oh, but I have
with the time machine. How far? I mean, you've introduced a new character in episode 2 with another kid from school. Are you going to be having like adventures where it might just be two of your kids going off one way, and Are you going to have, you're getting ideas from them, like where would you like to go if you could go anywhere?
So I think in my last podcast, the last interview Jay did with me, we talked about how far we actually had planned. So
yeah, we
when
did, because it's an absurd amount of time. But proceed.
Yeah. So we actually planned out for 5 seasons. So yeah, so the first season is 6 episodes, and then and that was kind of just to kind of the first arc, as you might say, to the story, because we wanted to introduce the like specific characters in the first arc, and then from that it'll start to lead to something much bigger. And as for the 3 kids, in each issue, the 3 kids will be in it every time, and for a specific reason. So as we were building out, we wanted to make sure that all 3 of them were in it in every single one. Yeah.
Wait, Scott, I
Yeah.
feel like you told me way longer than that.
Then 5 seasons?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like each season after that is 12 issues or 12 episodes.
After the first season.
Yeah.
See, I feel like you told me even longer than that. Maybe I'm just remembering wrong.
It's in like the 60 issue range, somewhere in there.
Yeah, so 48 plus 6, 56
Yeah, no,
plus.
see, man,
Yeah,
I'm
50,
going.
yeah.
Yeah. You know what, man? No,
54.
I swear you told me. Whatever. It's look. That particular quest was a while ago, Scott, and there have been a lot since it, as well as you and I have had a lot of other conversations. I don't bloody well remember exactly what it was, because it was a number on the show, and if everyone expects me to remember every number on the I'm sorry, I'm not that kind of autistic. What are you gonna do? Right? But I mean, man, I'm on a runaway train, Dave. But I am very curious, dude. Like, I guess it's wouldn't know because I've got Scott on, Dave, and there are things that I want to bring up, but I want to, like, especially with the Shooting Star universe, because I just don't know to what detail beyond what you've said you would want to. You know what I mean? And it kind of annoys me that I can't ask these questions, Dave, and know that it's on record. If I'm gonna be real dang honest about it, all right? Like that's exactly what it is.
Shooting Star. Okay, is it a real world like Marvel locations, or is it going to be DC like locations where the cities are made up, or locations are made up?
For the most part, it'll be real world, but because of the public domain character I want to bring in, it does have a fake city.
Okay.
So yeah. So it was kind of one of those. I was like, I got to make a decision at some point, right? So it is what it is, and I wanted to make sure, for the story that I'm telling, I wanted to make sure that that character in that city is there.
Okay.
Now my brain's just spinning, and I can't remember if, like, you had told me this at some point in the conversation, or like, because I can't remember who. Should I know who this is, Scott?
Sorta.
Cryptid. Cryptic as always. I love
it. What kind of answer is that, man?
Captain.
And he's an awesome character.
And my brain, and you know why is it? But it's because of where you put the character. Because I can tell you exactly.
Yeah.
Like, this is what's annoying me right now, Scott, is the fact that I can accurately just remember what was done, right? But then I
Yeah.
asked you about it, and blah, 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 and I think we had a short conversation, and I cannot remember. I can't. I'm gonna,
Oh, those are great. Sorry, I'm going through some of the covers for that character.
Yeah. Yeah. And the character is a lot of fun. But like I said, he's only a side character in the 5 issues or 4 issues that we're gonna have for that character, for introducing our new character.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I didn't want to take away what we didn't want to do is touch what they had done with that character. I don't want to touch that at all, right? I want to stay away from that completely. They made something that's great. I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to stay away from it completely. And the idea was he allows us to kind of jump forward with the character that we want to use. So it kind of worked both ways.
I think that's interesting too, to take a character that's, like, because I think that's a weird thing when you get into public domain characters.
Yeah.
It's really,
Steamboat Willie.
huh?
So we get Steamboat Willie in there fighting and punching
Yeah.
things around, and
I
Well,
mean, I can write
I
him
don't
in
mean
if
that.
you
I
want
mean,
me to, but
it
I don't
seems like
really.
it's hard to deal or hard to use a character like that at this point in day and age, and it just be something that is something. So that's why I think it's wise, huh?
oh, I was just thinking about what Eric Larson did with Savage Dragon. Like he had a book ready to drop like a week after Mickey went into public domain, and in Savage Dragon 250 something or the other, he dropped something in there, and Mickey is a foul mouthed little guy in there, and he's like,
Whoa,
"Hi, I'm Steve Willie," and I mean,
person,
it was fantastic.
that's
It was rude in every
different.
way.
Yeah, that's different, and I need that in my life, and because that's what because then you're throwing it in with Savage Dragon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean like more when people take characters like from I mean the most common ones that would be used I think nowadays are probably like Frankenstein, Dracula, the more common horror tropes. I honestly couldn't tell you. I mean, I know Steamboat Mickey is James Bond. James Bond isn't, is he?
No, he is not.
No,
Eh,
he's
I wonder how
got a
long.
couple of years left. So
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. I wonder how long James Bond's got because I don't feel like he should have that much longer.
Well, I think it's a certain amount of years after the death of the creator or something like that
yeah,
here in the US, but that's just US, and Ian Fleming was a British writer author, so it might be different in the UK. So, they didn't have Mickey Mouse over there extending copyrights.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I think
Okay.
before he was even a writer, Ian Fleming, I'm pretty sure that he was part of the World War II.
yeah,
And he was a specialty. He used to design like missions. No lie. Look up his story. It's really intriguing.
That's
no,
such
no,
a
it really was, because that's why he knows he knew the spycraft so well.
Yeah.
The books are much more like grounded compared to the movies ever were. And some would even say that they're boring, but I would not. I enjoyed them very much.
Yeah.
I no man. Yeah, I think that's. I mean, it's been a while since I've read a James Bond book. I won't lie. I kind of preferred the first 3 Bourne books. I really enjoyed those, which are again far far different from the films. Like crazily, yeah. But the James Bond, I mean, it's the exact same way. I don't know why you'd say that. It's just a great spy book. I think that's odd. Like, I think to a certain degree, people like expect things to be flamboyant in some degree, like all the time. There has to be an excessive amount of action. It has to be like and there's no, man, I feel like I'm just about to sound old, but like I feel like nuance has been lost to a certain degree. You
Yeah.
know,
Well,
I mean, and I'm not,
if it's not,
and I'm down for John Wick. Don't let me like you know what I'm saying. I'm down for that flick, but you know what I'm saying. Like I'm just, I don't know. It
You know
feels like
what's
yeah,
funny is Stephen King has actually gone the opposite way, right? He builds his characters out and doesn't have as much action in between those major scenes, right? Those major conflicts, which, to be honest, I think has made him even better writer,
Mhm.
right? Like I don't know, have you read Under the Dome? Have you, or
Oh, Under the Dome is fantastic.
11/22/63?
Yes.
That's
that's so good.
yeah. And that's what makes it so unusual for him.
Hmm. Yeah. So King always had that. We're going to give you 4 pages of here's what this person is thinking.
Yeah.
And then 3 or 4 lines of dialogue. Before moving on from something, and then you just really connected with the characters faster.
Yeah.
For me, of course, when I was way too young to be reading it, I was picturing these things in my mind way too much.
Yeah.
But it was really good stuff. Yeah. And Ian Fleming in the US, James Bond 2030 is when it goes in the public domain.
All right. So you got 6 years.
6 years from now, and all of us can write James Bond comics.
Yeah. So let's start writing something now.
Let's start writing now. Get them ready to go.
But you didn't hear that.
Right.
I just, man, does it ever make you realize, like, here coming real soon, there's a lot of things that are going to start going into public domain.
Action Comics is 10, was it 12 years, 6, or from now will be 100 years old. So, there you go.
Wait, what? I have to know. Do you know what that gives public domain to, Dave?
Action Comics #1 was, well, it just sold for $6 million. But 1938. So we're 14 years away from Action Comics, where that version of Superman becomes public domain. And remember, that Superman couldn't fly. He leaped over buildings, and he also beat up slumlords. So
he's Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so you could plan some interesting things between those dates.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
just have a 600-page omnibus ready to drop on that day. There you go. Here's what my Superman would do. He works at the Daily Star instead of the Daily Planet, I believe. That was his original. But
no.
Well, now maybe he's 007.
No.
Yeah, he and 007 get together and kick Mickey Mouse in the balls with one of the two. Oh crap! PG show. Sorry.
I mean, that was it's a rough edge to keep, Dave. I've realized that. Right? Respect to those that do it, and like, but when you're making a PG movie, in all fairness, like, I'm sure there are plenty of times where plenty of things are said in all those PG takes that it's like, hey man, can't use that.
Yeah, exactly. There's been a few for me when I'm writing the kids' books.
Yeah.
You need PG, and there was lots of curse words, and yeah, there you go. So, sorry, folks.
There was
some spots in Marvelous Tales that I removed curse words out of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
man. I mean, because, like, I think with what you're doing in Marvelous Tales, really, if you look at it, I think you should definitely try and keep it as all age as possible. You know what I mean? Because I think, and I mean, not that The Boys and Invincible and other things haven't worked, but that I don't think it's gonna go that violent. I don't know. It might
No.
go that violent.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't
Sorry.
think so. I mean, no, I don't think it will. It's more, if anything, it's more the swearing.
Why not do the comic book thing?
What do you mean?
Man, you put like
Squiggles,
the squiggles,
wingdings.
wingdings, all that.
Good. It's
I
not
mean,
as funny.
huh?
It's not as funny. Most of the time when he's swearing, it's him calling people by, giving them names. Yeah. You know how you look at your friend and you call him F-tard or something like that? That's what it is.
That's great.
And like I know Lean, when Lean created this character, it was very much his favorite character is Spider-Man, right? So it was very influenced by Spider-Man. So I may have added a few comments that kind of represented that to it, right? So when he says something to the one guy, and the one guy said something about his costume, he goes, I had a reply for that, but I didn't have a pad of paper to jot it down, right? Like, it just little things like that I added just because it gives it that same feel, right?
Yeah, no, I did like that where he's like, I feel like I should have a superhero. Like, he's like saying he should have a spiel, but he's like, but I didn't have time to prep or jot anything down. So
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, all right then. I mean, yeah. That would be. I would. Man, I'm very curious to see as far as what you take this with, because you like.
You okay?
Well, no. It was because conversations Scott and I have had, and I think I was about to extend beyond the line where Scott's trying to at the moment. So my brain had to go, cancel that question because Scott's going to be like, dude. And then I'm going to just end up having to be like, well, stop telling me things, Scott.
Well, I mean, you can ask the question. It's just I don't know if I'm going to give you an answer.
I shouldn't ask the question in the way it was about to, though.
No.
So that's what we'll say. But with Shooting Star, right? I mean, you start him out to where he's just dealing with street punks, right? And then suddenly, my dog just went nuts. She's so annoying almost on every show at one point. Yeah, I don't know if anybody if you really watched the show, Scott can probably attest to yeah, she's an a-hole.
I don't watch the show. What are you talking about?
Right.
There's a show.
What's that?
There's a show.
We tried.
What show? What are you talking about?
But hey,
We were just hanging out.
it's really what it seems like at the moment. It's what most of this show has been really. It's just BS and banter. I agree. But no, as far as with the Shooting Star character, like I said, he started out with street level crime. He clearly has an agenda. I'm giving spoilers for issue 1. Of going after the company that did that. Right?
Yes.
So
At some
what level of threat do you intend to give him?
Well, I don't know how much I want to say.
See? Do you see why
Maybe.
I had to ponder how to even ask that question? All right. So it's fair.
I think
Because yeah.
Sorry.
You're good.
I think right now, as we put the issues out, he's not going to have a major threat until later. We're going to introduce quite a few characters, and then once we introduce a certain character, he'll show up. How's that?
See? You see why it was so hard to ask that question? I want to point out, like, seriously.
Well, and I think when you're building something like this, I think it's really important to have a balance of different characters that, yes, might interlock together at some point, but they also might butt heads, right? And additionally, not just specific nemesis, because like in issue 2, we introduce Shooting Star's main nemesis in his city, right? And when we get to later on in the other characters, we also introduce a like the big bad, like our Thanos, our Kang the Conqueror. There's always going to be one, right? And it's that one that bands the team together, right? And at some point, all of these characters are gonna either be at each other or help each other to move forward. So, and I think you also need that balance of having street level villains or nemesis, and having that high one, right? Because then you have something to build to, right? And I think that's why a lot of the stuff that we see is built correctly. Like Ghost Machine is a perfect one, right? It just came out, but we know that at some point those characters have intermingled together.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That was a great answer. I ain't asking no more questions because coming up with that hurt my head because I'm having to filter through no, dude, I'm gonna end up asking something and you're gonna be like, dude, you just spoiled something. Or I'm gonna be like, I didn't mean to, man. I didn't mean to, Scott. But
I got one more question, if I can,
Yeah.
Scott. Where can I buy these books, physical versions of these books?
Right now, you can jump on www.capcan.com .ca, and they have all the books online on their site.
it's if you look down here in the description, it's like right there, and it'll take you right to it. Just so
Right
you
there?
don't have to rewind or listen or anything. No, it's below everyone. Come on now. It's just in the description where you can literally click the link and it'll take you to it. So you don't have to go back and be like, and type all that in. Unless you want to do that. I don't care. It wasn't that difficult.
Scratch your back of your ear and
Yeah.
we playing some baseball over here.
I just, man, put the link there. It makes it easier. It really does, man. As well as you got C2E2?
No,
what?
CKExpo.
CKExpo.
Which is in chat.
Not C2. That's gaming, isn't it? I was totally wrong on my computer.
Yeah, that's in Chatham, Ontario. And then I have June 7th, 8th, and 9th. I have Niagara Falls Comic Con, which is going to be absolutely awesome. Greg Capullo is coming, and I am stoked for that. Yeah, and hopefully I can get to Toronto Fan Expo. I might not have a table, I don't know yet, but it doesn't matter. I'll go there, I'll meet everybody.
So if you're out in those areas, catch Scott, right? Because he's going to be at tables and roaming around. Hopefully no one gave him a magic wand to use, because no one needs that magic wand. I just want to point that out, because I don't trust anyone with that level of power. Really, Dave, don't No, no.
I
Dude.
will be a benevolent ruler.
And
You
that's
definitely
what
don't want my kids to have it.
and that's what they'll all say. Yeah. So, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, with that, I want you all to do me. Wait, man, I don't.
Here,
Yeah, no. 4 things.
thumbs up.
Right? No, 4 things. Right. Firstly, check all the links in the description. You know, there's even shirts for the questionnaire down there. I need to get me one. As well as find all Scott's work. You can check that out. And I don't know, some other things, man. Right? Besides that, just 3 other things. Right? 1, always give a thumbs up. Right? Hopefully. I don't know. Maybe not. Whatever. Do what you like. You're your own person. Right? 2, you should always get your comic on because there's comic for everyone. Besides that, have a good
You're
night, y'all.
listening to the questionnaire.
Say that again.
You're listening to the questionnaires.
I've just started.
Right here for your ears, for your eyes.
The questionnaire.
Get your comic on.
Polka dot, polka dot, polka dot, polka dot.